Alrighty, so the translations have come out. I was thinking about making or doing a live stream for the reveal of the slime collab, but honestly, I mean, it was super. I went to bed early and it just didn't work out. So either way, the translations are finally out, and I didn't want to make a video late on it without at least having something good to show for it. So here is the Grand Cross database translations. There is a link in the description to the Grand Cross database. It's always in the description because it's such a helpful tool. The guy who runs it, fantastic. So let's look at this thing. So obviously the slime collab is coming. Slime collab part 2 anyway. We have a new season 2 Demon Lord Rimaru and Shuna. I think people are still kind of on the fence about Shuna, but apparently she's very popular in Japan, so really, I mean, I understand their point, you know, sales, whatever. Octogram Demon Lord Rimaru Tempest, and he has Megiddo, which is fantastic because it's the ultimate that I wanted him to have. I haven't seen any of this stuff yet, so let's just go ahead and go over it together. So he is a green unit, which is actually pretty cool because, you know, we haven't really had a good green unit in the meta in a while. I mean, I don't know if he's good or not, but it looks like he might be okay. An infect card is kind of weird, but we'll see how it goes. He is an unknown unit, which is a little unfortunate because he's literally Demon Lord. But then again, in the show, Demon Lord is just a title. It doesn't. He's literally a slime. Like that, his race is a slime, I guess. So I guess it makes sense. Either way, green unit. At the start of the ally's turn, increases the hero's basic stats by 8% and remove 1 buff from each enemy. For each buff removed, increases the hero's basic stats by 8%. When it's at max stack, the following effect activates once only for 3 turns, increases the hero's pierce rate by 130%, stacks up to 5 times. Holy! So not only are you getting 8% basic stat stacked 5 times, which is 40% basic stat increase, when you max it out, you get 130% pierce rate, which is insane because he has a pierce card. But this is a single target pierce card, so it could, if it was an AoE pierce card, this man would be nuts, like absolutely insane. And this passive seems really good. The only thing is, obviously, it's only if it removes buffs. So if you go first with this unit, more often than not, I don't think there's really anybody in the meta right now that really has buffs on, at least to begin with, I don't think. So maybe going second would be preferred, kinda, which is kind of weird. Or even then, like he'll sort of build up over the match, but very interesting passive. I'm glad it's at least something that sounds kind of cool because I don't know, I didn't have really super high hopes for this for some reason, but his regular attack card is inflicts pierce damage equal to 500% of attack on one enemy. That is, of course, at gold. 500% normally seems to be like the highest multiplier that a card can get, so, or highest percentage that a card can get, so that seems pretty normal. The second card is inflicts damage equal to 280% of attack on all enemies and infects for 2 turns at gold. So I don't know how to feel about that one. I've never really been a huge fan of infect cards, but I'm just throwing, like, I understand that this is actually pretty good for the meta right now because not only does this shut down Bond's healing from Gift, but it also stops Trader Meliodas from life stealing so much, which is very, very good. So I think those 2 teams in particular are going to take a big hit from this guy. Obviously, Bond is a red unit and this is a green unit, so there might not be, he's going to need to be able to survive quite a bit. He's going to need to be, you're going to have some way to help tank or something along those lines, but you know, a lot of that team is AoE as well, so I'm assuming Bond might still be able to beat through this man. But yeah, Infect isn't actually as bad as it used to be. Infect used to be like just a really meh card. Like I really didn't like whenever Festival of Merlin had Infect, but it's actually pretty decent in today's meta. So, the ultimate is an Abyss effect. Okay, inflicts damage equal to 300% of attack on all enemies. Gains Abyss effect and takes 50% less damage for 2 turns. Abyss inflicts additional damage equal to 30% of the damage dealt on all enemies at the start of the enemy's turn. Only applies the Abyss effect on the last used hero. So it's an AoE, inflicts additional damage equal to 30% of damage dealt on all enemies. I thought it had something to, I thought Abyss was the one that made it to where, well, I guess that's not true either because of the way Cusac's passive works. or Cusac's ultimate works whenever he has Abyss. I don't know why, but I associate Abyss with like status effect teams, and I was like, he doesn't really do status effects other than like infect, and even then it's not like a DOT skill. So kind of cool. At least the silver lining here is that he has the Abyss effect at 1/6, because this is the level 1 ultimate, and he has the level 6 ultimate down here. It's 300 up to 50%, and then it's 450 and then still 50% on the Abyss effect as well. So it's an AoE ultimate. Abyss is actually pretty cool. I can't really complain too much there. I don't know how to feel about this one particularly just yet, but it could be really, really good. I'm just glad that he actually has the Abyss effect at 1/6, unlike Cusack, because Cusack was ridiculous with that. Either way, moving on. Next we have Shuna, who is another green unit. Okay, kind of weird. Increase or decreases damage received from unknown race allies by 20%. Decreases damage received from unknown allies. Is this supposed to be damage dealt? Because damage received from, why would your allies can't attack you? So I don't think that this is quite right, but okay. Kind of interesting. The unknown team is obviously getting quite a bit of a buff here. I did skim through I woke up a little bit early, like at the very end of the live stream, and I noticed that, or I skimmed through it a little bit, and I noticed that in the live stream they were actually using these 2 new characters along with Festival Merlin, and I can only assume it's because it was some sort of unknown team, which I figured was going to be the case, because they don't, she's, what is she in the show? She's not an ogre. She evolves from an ogre or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is off the top of my head right now, but that's okay, I guess. Cancels stances on one enemy and inflicts damage equal to 250% of attack, then stuns for 2 turns. Okay, so very supporty. And then a heal card, heals HP and all allies equal, or of all allies equal to 325% of attack, rejuvenates for 1 turn. So rejuvenate is actually a pretty decent skill to have. It's not like super crazy, but it's kind of nice. Not a whole lot of healing cards actually have rejuvenate. I think only in the game there's like 3 characters that have rejuvenate at the moment, and it might even only be 2. I can't remember exactly how many it is, but it's pretty low. So I'm not crazy about this character. It works in the back slot apparently, I think. I don't know. Obviously this is definitely like an unknown team support character, and I'm not super big on the support team, or the unknown team just in general, but I mean, it is what it is. I think I'm really interested in Rimaru for sure. Unfortunately he doesn't have anything else done just yet. It says to be announced down here. You can't see it, but TBA. So I guess we'll just have to see what the relics are and everything like that a little bit later on. I think I'll actually just sit on this recording a little bit until those actually get added to this, because I don't really want to make just a whole separate video for that. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, so although I would much rather wait for Grand Cross Database to actually put out the translations for the relics, unfortunately he said that he has exams tomorrow, so he it might not be able to get to it until a little bit later on today or even tomorrow. So just in case, we're gonna go over, I'm assuming what this is probably like a screenshot with some sort of like Google Translate or something over it, which means that it could be wrong. I think that there's a high likelihood that this isn't going to be exactly how it's supposed to be worded or anything, but we're going to go over it nonetheless, and then we'll call it a day. But for Rimaru, so these are for the old units, by the way. The old SR Rimaru is not getting a Holy Relic, but then again, he literally doesn't have any like attack weapons because he's a ball of slime. So kind of unfortunate that he doesn't get one, but I can understand why. But regular Rimaru is every time your HP decreases by 4%, your attack-related abilities, so attack-related stats, increases by 1% when you use a skill, maybe. That seems weird. Decreases by 4% is a very odd number. I can only imagine that this isn't quite right, but then again, he's not super tanky or anything like that to begin with. I don't know if they ended up trying to buff these characters at all. I don't think that they did, but I could be wrong on that because I didn't actually watch the whole live stream or anything like that. But I don't know, not sure about that one really. Attacking an enemy with a debuff effect increases attack related stats by 20% and heals 25% of the damage done. So that one seems a lot better. Maybe this is right. Maybe it's just like it stacks like exponentially maybe. So like every time you take 4% like of your HP bar, you gain 1%. So like if you end up getting 25 or 20% of your health taken or whatever, your stats go up by X amount or whatever the case may be. So maybe it stacks that way. Maybe, I don't know, I can't really tell how this is supposed to work, but I think that makes a lot more sense. This one seems okay because he does have a debuff card and it hits everybody. So attacking an enemy with a debuff card increases attack related stats by 20% and heals 25% of damage done. It doesn't really do a whole lot of damage, so I'm assuming that the healing back isn't going to be super crazy there. I don't know, it's not looking like these are going to be enough to really pull these old units sort of out of the gutter, but oh well, I guess it's kind of unfortunate. And then Maleem's is each time you use a skill, move, or rank up to increase your special move gauge by 1, you will be given a maximum of 5 effects that increase your critical probability, so crit chance, and crit damage by 10% for 3 turns. Restores 30% of the maximum HP each time you have 5 or more gauges. So that one's pretty interesting. She's kind of like a crit-based character in general just because of the way that her passive works. I don't know. I'm not super big on any of these, but then again, they'll be given out like in the events and stuff like that that come out with the update in general. So I don't think it's going to be the worst thing in the world to go ahead and grab them because, I mean, they're free. So I don't really know. I guess we'll just have to kind of wait and see. I'm sure a lot of the, JP YouTubers and stuff like that are going to be making videos and everything on those. I'll try to keep an eye out to see whether or not any of them are actually good enough to where you want to invest in some of the old characters. I do have all of my old Slime Collab characters at level 90, but none of them are Super Awakened, and I would like to avoid Super Awakening characters that I really don't plan on using or are just bad in general. So if I can keep those materials, that would be very nice. So I'll try to keep an eye out on my end, try to let you guys know whenever it comes out, like more close to like global release and everything, so that way you kind of know what you're getting into or if you should try to get those characters or whatever the case may be. But I'm really interested in Rimaru, of course, but who's not, I guess. Like, he's the main character and I figured he was probably going to be the better of the two. And Shuna's okay. Shuna's pretty interesting as well, I guess, for the unknown team, but I think Rimaru's going to be able to stand on his own. So I'm pretty excited about this collab. It's not super exciting, I don't think, honestly. Like, I mean, if Shuna's not the most exciting character as far as I'm concerned. Rimaru's pretty cool. I'm really glad he has Megiddo as his like ultimate move, which is really cool. And I can only hope that they end up doing something more to these old characters because they really are just terrible. So I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see. We'll see what the events and stuff like that are whenever they end up dropping on JP. Hopefully they'll get a good sense of everything while they play, and then when we get it on global, I'll go over everything. So feel free to stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed already, feel free to, so that way you see more of whatever's going on in the game, because I do upload every day. This is pretty much the only game that I play at least on the channel. So that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe, like I said. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.